champ now.
Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, champ?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talking. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talking about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, one time during my career, I was on the Formula One tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
What's happening, my people? It's Cass Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Crush the Legend. Salute to everyone and welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, Controversy and Corruption, Part 2. Controversy and Corruption, Part 2. How's the family today? Yeah, there were some things on the Controversy and Corruption show we didn't get to yesterday, so I decided to finish them up today, okay? We're going to talk about today, still controversy and corruption, but some of the worst judging decisions of all time, okay? We talked about some bad judges yesterday, but we didn't talk about, I still got some more terrible decisions. I got like 10 more terrible decisions they made. And then some crazy press conferences, crazy controversial press conferences, like when Mike Tyson told Lennox Lewis he was going to eat his children, those type. Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick had a weird one. Some crazy press conferences, okay? And then we're going to talk about how did boxing become so corrupt in the first place, right? And What happened to the Fan Man? Remember the Fan Man dropped in on Riddick Bowe and Holyfield in their second fight? We're going to talk about exactly what happened to the Fan Man after that. And finally, we touched on this a little bit yesterday. The dirtiest fighter ever, Louis Resto. Remember? The one that had the hand rest was loaded and soaked them in plaster. So they were hard. Ended up, he had a car accident where it was suspected suicide related to that fight. Because, he never fought again after that. His whole career got messed up because of that cheating Louis Resto did. So we're going to take a long, good look at that fight today. Controversy and corruption, part 2. All right, but how's everybody this hump day? This is the hump day edition of Cash Sports, the Box Story. This hump day afternoon. Salute, Crush. How are you today? I don't think we had a Crush this morning. I was looking for him. But yeah, Crush the legend, the morning man, 6 a.m. Monday through Friday. Giving that top level boxing talk. Music, all kinds of stuff over there. Crush the legend is a very versatile guy. Salute, Crush. Okay, so now let's get started with our fight of the day for today. Got to have our fight of the day. So let's get started with that. Fight of the day. Okay. Today's fight of the day is Matthew Saad Muhammad versus Yaki Lopez. July 13th, 1980. So close, yet so far for Yaki. So close, yet so far for Yaki. These were two of those great light heavyweights of the 80s. I think it was the greatest decade of all for light heavyweights, 1980s. Those two, Michael Spinks, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, Johnson. 1980s was a fire decade for the light heavyweight division. And we got two of them today in the fight of the day. Saad Muhammad versus Lopez. Used to be Matthew Franklin, okay, from the great boxing city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Also home of Crush the legend, okay? Yeah, that's where Matthew was from. So let's get started with the fight of the day. Saad Muhammad versus Lopez. 2. This is 2. The second fight between these two fighters, okay? Get started so we can get to some more boxing controversy and corruption. Because I told you when you get those bad judging decisions, it's not bad judging, it's corruption. Somebody's handing that envelope, okay? Somebody's getting that envelope. Just like this here. It ain't bad judging. This is what's happening right here. Right there. That's what's happening. It ain't bad judging. Referees too. It's probably a boxing judge right there. Okay, but let's go with the fight of the day today. Saad Muhammad versus Yaki Lopez. Okay, there we go. Hump day. On the way to the weekend. Headed for the weekend. Okay. It was legendary sports scribe Jimmy Cannon who famously stated that boxing was the red light district of sports, renowned for its corruption and ties to organized crime. Now, we might also call it the hard luck quarter, or the barrel of broken spirits, the special place where dreams go to die. all those bad decisions, all those long-suffering warriors who deserve better, right? That's what today's show is all about. All those long-deserving warriors, all those long-suffering warriors who deserve better. Boxing history is littered with heartbreaking stories of injustice. And then there are the fighters who got so close, so agonizingly close to championship glory, but never did hold up that golden belt. Okay? So close, but yet so far. The roster of pugilists who by all rights should have tasted some of that glory, but never did, is very lengthy. But whenever talk of the best never to win a world title starts up, along with the usual suspects, Sam Langford, Charlie Burley, Lou Tendler, Harry Wills, etc. Spare thought for Yaqui Lopez. Now, while some on that long list never got a title shot at all, Lopez did get his shot, but he was denied again and again, at least once unfairly. The Don Quixote of the light heavyweight division, Lopez kept trying for that unreachable star, and for a few thrilling seconds in his ferocious war with Matthew Saad Muhammad, it appeared within his grasp, only for it to slip away forever, thanks to physical fortitude of an almost superhuman kind. And there is a shot of Yaqui Lopez right there. There's Yaqui. So close, but yet so far. It's the title of the fight of the day today. Now, Lopez, unlike so many of today's young fighters, started out in pro boxing the hard way, with a manager who kept him active and wasn't afraid to put him up in with strong competition. Campaigning out of Stockton, California in his first year as a pro, he fought 8 times. His second year, he fought 10 times. By then, he had a couple losses on his record, but he learned from them and kept going. At the end of his third year as a pro, Lopez possessed a world ranking and a reputation for being an aggressive, crowd-pleasing grinder with a penchant for throwing punches in bunches. And in year 4, after wins over Mike Query and Jesse Burnett, he found himself in his first world title fight, dropping a 15-round decision to the more experienced John Carte. For the next 5 years, Lopez was a fixture at the top of the light heavyweight rankings. In 1977, he got a second crack at a world championship, this time in Italy and against Argentina's Victor Galindez. Okay, second shot, Victor Galindez. Now, the fight was even closer than the Carte fight, his first shot. The Italian fans booing and jeering the decision for Galindez. Lopez, undaunted, went right back to winning fights, including a huge TKO victory over fellow top contender, Mike Rossman. A rematch with Galindez followed, and once again, an unpopular decision went the champion's way. Another unpopular decision for Lopez. Al Booger in the building. What's up, Al Booger? Fight of the day today is Matthew Saad Muhammad, Yaqui Lopez. Then we got the part 2 of the corruption and controversy show. So stuff we didn't get to yesterday. We're going to get it all in today, though. But let's continue with the fight of the day. 2 of those great 1980s light heavyweights, Matthew Saad Muhammad and Yaqui Lopez. So Yaqui's had 2 title fights so far. Fell up a little short on both of them. right? Never won a title in his career, but came close a few times. BBO Sports TV in the building. What's up, BBO? 8 o'clock tonight with the gang. Salute, BBO. Okay. Now, the following year, Lopez faced Philadelphia's Matthew Franklin in a classic crossroads showdown between two leading contenders. One on his way up, the other now a veteran of 3 world title fights, all three defeats, seemingly on his way down. And Matthew Franklin, the first fight was Matthew Franklin. By the second fight, he was Matthew Saad Muhammad. Okay. William Old School Arant in the building. What's up, Old School? How are you today? From the Angry White Men podcast at 10 p.m. Friday night. William Old School and D1 Fire podcast. I know everybody's subscribed to that one, but if you're not, take care of your business there. Mike Rem in the building. What's up, Mike Rem? How are you today? Fight of the day, Matthew Saad Muhammad, Jackie Lopez, 2. First fight, it was still Matthew Franklin. Okay, let's continue. Okay. So this is the first fight between them. Now, the grueling fight was decided in round 11 when the referee, concerned for Jackie after he had sustained a deep gash over his left eye, stopped the fight. It was back to the drawing board for Lopez, whereas Franklin won the WBC title in his very next fight, a thrilling brawl against Marvin Johnson, to become a certified attraction. Yeah, Jackie would have got that fight if he had won it, but nope. Franklin got it and he won the title. Then Franklin converted to Islam, changed his name to Matthew Saad Muhammad, and enjoyed the money and renown that came with being a world champion and having his fights broadcast on national television. Okay. There's a shot of Saad Muhammad right here, formerly Matthew Franklin. By that time, Matthew Saad Muhammad. Okay. Mike Mazik. Salute, Mike Mazik in the building. How are you today? Always good to see Mike Mazik. Okay, let's continue. Been with me from day uno. All right. So Franklin won the title. He getting all the big fights on national TV, the money, everything that come with that. Now, meanwhile, Jackie Lopez, now viewed by many as a hard luck fighter, destined to never get the break he needed, struggled to remain in line for yet another chance at the brass ring. A loss to prison inmate James Scott was a huge setback. Yeah, James Scott, remember, they were actually going into the prison to fight this guy. He was in prison, but he was so good, he was ranked in the top 10 in several sanctioning bodies. So Jackie went in there and fought him and lost. So that was a huge setback for him, right? Loss to James Scott, the prison inmate, was a huge setback. But Jackie followed that loss up with a pair of wins. And Saad Muhammad made good on a promise he delivered to Lopez after their first meeting. No one had been entirely satisfied with the result of that clash, and Matthew Saad Muhammad had told Jackie Lopez that if he won the title, he would make sure a Saad Muhammad versus Lopez 2 match took place, right? And so he made sure that at a place called the Great George Playboy Club and on live national television, right? The fight was at the Great George Playboy Club on national TV too. So the battle that transpired there that Sunday afternoon is without question one of the great action fights in the history of the fight game, especially the light heavyweight division, right? Great fight. It was Muhammad's 4th defense of the light heavyweight title, right? And Muhammad was now widely known as a classic Philly fighter with a big punch, his dramatic wars against Marvin Johnson and John Conte attracting large television audiences. And the talk was that a win over Lopez would pave the way for a big money unification fight with WBA champion Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. Okay? Formerly Eddie Gregory. Appreciate you, old school. Now, as for Yaki Lopez, in light of his one-sided loss to James Scott, this was viewed by many as his last chance to make good and bring home a world title to Stockton, California. So this was viewed as Yaki's last chance. Now, he let it be known he was in the best condition of his career and intent on outboxing the powerful Muhammad, telling reporters he had learned the lesson that this time he would use his ring smarts and left jab to keep the champion on the outside. Now, longtime Lopez observers didn't place much faith in the challenger's remarks. They knew he had the heart of a warrior. And once Muhammad started rumbling, Yaki would respond in kind, okay? So yeah, they're getting ready to have this second fight between them, the rematch. But they said they knew Yaki had the heart and he was gonna go in there and rumble. And as early as round 1, those cynics were proved correct. The challenger started by circling and using his jab to keep Muhammad at bay. But the champion put on the pressure, looking to bring his power to bear. 2 minutes in the first round, he unleashed a volley of thudding shots that momentarily put the Californian Lopez on his heels, before Lopez came right back, standing his ground and firing a series of stinging left hooks. It was more the same in the second round, as Lopez again sought to box in a disciplined manner. When he shook Muhammad with a right hand, he followed up aggressively, nailing the champion with hooks to open a small cut over Muhammad's right eye. And he won the round, okay? So he's not doing too bad. So the turns were now set. A fast-paced action fight with Lopez landing more punches while Muhammad patiently stalked his man and looked for chances to bring his heavier guns to play, right? Now Lopez boxed with increasing confidence, backing Muhammad up and creating openings by virtue of some clever hand speed and foot feints, right? And a sharp jab, with his left hook being his chief weapon. Muhammad rebounded at the end of round 3 behind a series of heavy left hooks, but it was still Yaki Lopez's round, okay? So Yaki's starting to bank rounds on the champion. He wants that title because he knows this is his last shot. If he loses this one, that's it. He can keep fighting, become a gatekeeper or something, but he ain't getting no more title shots, okay? So, and so was the fourth round as the pace quickened and the struggle intensified. Lopez worked to stay in ring center and keep Saad Muhammad on the end of his punching. Both men got home big shots, but it was Yaki who more often started and finished the exchanges, okay? It was Yaki starting the exchanges and getting the best of them. Mixing up his punches beautifully, he ended the round by hooking up the jab and then landing heavy blows with both hands as the crowd went crazy. In round 5, Lopez boxed with authority and discipline until the last minute when he drove the champion to the ropes with 4 big right hands. Muhammad grinned in response and waved Yaki in, but the challenger wisely refused the invitation, forcing Muhammad to chase him down, and the round ending with a vicious toe-to-toe exchange. It had already been a thrilling and action-packed clash, but the best was yet to come. Now, round 6 featured plenty of savage brawling at close quarters. Lopez getting the better of it with his sharp, more precise blows, while Muhammad, his mouth open, appeared to be tiring. Okay? Muhammad was getting tired. Round 7 was more the same until Muhammad got home with a huge left hook. The champion briefly seized the initiative, but it was not enough to derail Lopez or the course of the fight. Muhammad was still a threat, but it was clearly Yaki's fight to lose by this point. Okay? Then came round 8. Now, up to this point, Yaki Lopez was the better man, having won at least 5 rounds out of the first 8, right? There's still a long way to go because it was 15 rounds back then. Still a long way to go. But it was clear that if Lopez continued to box with discipline, it was going to be difficult for Muhammad to turn the tide. But try to turn it, Muhammad did. Coming out hard in the 8th round and letting his hands go. Backing Lopez up and deepening a cut on the edge of the challenger's nose. Now, Yaki had no choice but to stand his ground and slug it out. Okay? Yeah, he had no choice but to stand there and slug it out with Muhammad, and there they go. 8th round. So now, sensing this was finally his time to seize the momentum, Muhammad charged with fury, launching his best sustained attack of the fight and connecting with several heavy right hands. But just when it appeared he might be taking the play from Lopez, under intense pressure, found an opening for his shots and came off the ropes to land a series of precise and perfectly timed punches with both fists, stunning Muhammad with a 1-2 as the crowd rose to their feet. And then Lopez unleashed a breathtaking barrage of leather. Now, it was Saad Muhammad giving ground, his legs buckling. Unanswered blows, 30. Okay, 30 unanswered punches, turning his opponent in the process and punching him to the ropes. For a few seconds, it appeared as if the champion simply had to go down, that no one could withstand such sustained punishment, that an 8th round stoppage was the fitting and inevitable conclusion to such a disciplined performance by the challenger, that a world title would finally belong to the undefeatable Yaki Lopez. At long last, he was about to make good, but yet it was not to be. He was right there. Had Muhammad hurt, had backed him into the ropes, and everybody said, finally, Yaki's going to get his title. But it was not to be. Just wasn't in the cards. Muhammad, while clearly stunned, was like a tank. The rain of punches bouncing off him, as if he were made of steel. He never came close to visiting the canvas. And as a winded and arm-weary Lopez finally backed off, he punched himself out, Lopez did. And when he finally backed off, Muhammad, incredibly, did not seek to clinch or otherwise take a breather, but instead took charge, firing and landing his own volley of heavy artillery before the bell finally rang and the crowd stood and roared for one of the most memorable and action-packed rounds in pugilistic history. That was the fight's turning point. Lopez, having pursued the knockout, had gambled and lost. Both men had been hurt, and both men were tired. But it was Muhammad who somehow emerged from the vicious battle that was round 8 with less damage and more fuel in the tank. Signaling the sudden shift for the first time in 3 minutes signaling the sudden shift. For the first time, a 3-minute round definitely belonged to the champion, because Lopez had been banking rounds ever since like the second or third round, and it got all the way to the 8th round before Muhammad finally won another round, right? And then he imposed his edge in sheer physical strength on a tiring challenger and took round 9 with authority. Yeah, round 9 was the first round he had won in a while, okay? Because although he did come back in round 8, Lopez had done enough early in the round to take it. So Franklin takes round 9, and that was the turning point in the fight. But Yaki Lopez never gave up. He never stopped battling back. But he was fading, and Saad Muhammad knew it. Unable to regain his momentum, Yaki was now the stationary target, and the champion ruthlessly walked him down and battered him. Now, Lopez briefly gave his fans hope when he won round 11 with some crisp jabs and left hooks, but it proved a fleeting victory. Round 12 was a brutal slugfest that sapped what little energy Lopez had left, okay? And Saad Muhammad continued to apply tremendous pressure. The champion doggedly slugged away, and in round 13, he landed his best shot of the fight up to that point. A flush right hand that staggered Lopez. But incredibly, Lopez, in his last hurrah, soon after, forced Muhammad to the ropes and unloaded with both fists. But by the end of the round, it was obvious that Yaki's energy and will were draining away. His legs were gone, and Muhammad was moving in with virtually every blow he landed. The more powerful champion was clearly in command now, getting his punches off first as an exhausted Lopez struggled to survive. Just trying to make it to the final bell now, Lopez is. Damn, this alone. Okay, so finally, just seconds in round 14, Muhammad landed a heavy right hand to the temple, and then Lopez was suddenly on the canvas from a left hook, followed by a huge uppercut. Now Lopez bravely rose, but a right hand and a left hook scored a second knockdown in the round, right? Then a right hand decked Lopez a third time. The referee gave the courageous challenger another chance to continue, but a flush right to the chin hurt him badly, and Yaki toppled to his knees. This was the fourth time, and the referee waved his arms, and the furious war was finally over, but a great fight. As one might expect, Lopez was never quite the same after this heartbreaking defeat in one of the most action-packed Donnybrooks in boxing history. But as gallant as he had been inside the ring, he was equally magnanimous outside it, giving full credit and respect to Muhammad, his opponent. Yaki said, as much as I wanted the title, he just wanted it more. This fight was less about me losing and more about him winning. Yep, Yaki said it was less about him losing, more about Muhammad winning. He just wanted it a little bit more. That's what it boiled down to. This was my toughest fight, admitted Saad Muhammad, adding that Lopez indeed had him hurt in the 8th round. He had me in trouble. I won't sit here and deny it. But at all times, I knew I would be victorious. Now, Lopez kept fighting after that, right? He eventually moved up to cruiserweight, where he received his fifth and final title shot. He did get another title shot at cruiserweight in 1983. It was stopped in 4 rounds by Carlos de Leon. And Matthew Saad Muhammad eventually lost his title to Dwight Braxton. but he fought on for years, not retiring until 1992, though he never regained the world championship. And both Saad Muhammad and Lopez deserve to be remembered for much more than that one fight. But when boxing fans revisit the violent battle that dashed forever Yaqui Lopez's championship hopes, they are never recalled more vividly. To a great degree, this ferocious clash defines both men for posterity. For Saad Muhammad, as Miracle Matthew, an incredibly tough and exciting warrior who could absorb alarming amounts of punishment and come roaring back to win. And for Yaqui Lopez, as a brave and determined pugilist who came so close to claiming championship glory, but was destined to never seize it. So close, but yet so far for Yaqui Lopez. So close, but yet so far. That's the fight of the day. That was a long one, okay? So now, first, let's look at, this is Controversy and Corruption, Part 2. First is going to be some of the worst judging decisions in boxing history, okay? Some of the worst judging decisions in boxing history. But how's everyone? Today is, what is today? Tuesday? Wednesday, yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's get to where we want to be first. And then we're going to get started with some of the worst judging decisions in boxing history. I'm going to be jumping around today because where we ended yesterday is now in the back, so yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There it is. Yeah, just go to the back and count backwards. There we go. Okay, this is some of the worst judging decisions in boxing history now. Big show today. Big show today. Oh, this guy's loud out there. Everybody having a good day so far? Yeah, some of the worst judging decisions in boxing history. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's get started. That's the first one right there on the screen. Now, is there anything worse than paying for a pay-per-view fight and watching a fighter get robbed of a clear decision, a clear win? Bad and corrupt judging is one of the bones of boxing. It reduces public confidence in the sport's legitimacy and turns people off. It leads to charges from incompetence to corruption. It makes people wonder why they sacrifice their time and hard-earned money in the first place. Now, not all close fights are bad decisions. Sometimes a fight can legitimately go either way, and different people favor different styles, okay? Now, a fight being close and not going to the guy you preferred doesn't turn a decision into a robbery. It was just a close fight. But that's not the case with these fights we're going to talk about in a minute. All of these fights ended with boxing's equivalent of a holdup without a weapon. Okay, let's look at these 10 judging decisions. 10 of the worst, might be the 10 worst judging decisions in boxing history. Okay, the first one is Nikolai Valuev versus Evander Holyfield. This one flew under the radar. Then consider his opponent, the ancient former champion, Evander Holyfield, who was still soldiering on despite being years from his prime. Nobody seemed to care about the robbery. But just a few days before Christmas in 2008, Valuev received a gift from the judges in Switzerland, who gave him a majority decision over the shell of a once great champion. Holyfield did enough to win, but the crime is that Valuev did virtually nothing, but still managed to win. The Russian giant seemingly threw nothing at all and allowed Holyfield to dance and land in spurts in some of the rounds. Major media outlets scored the fight for Holyfield, including Sports Illustrated, who favored Evander 118 to 110. Okay, Valuev won all of like one round, but for Sports Illustrated. And he won two. They gave Holyfield 10 of the 12 rounds. Holyfield clearly won the fight, but they gave it to Valuev, one of the worst in boxing history. Sports Illustrated had it 118 to 110. Okay, you saw that one, Holyfield? Yeah, 118 to 110. But the judges, they gave it to Valuev. We're gonna look at a couple of, these are the worst decisions in boxing history. This one is George Foreman. This one is Big George Foreman versus Shannon Briggs. Okay? Yeah, Big George should have got the nod in that one. But Big George got some gifts too in his second career, so I guess it balances out. Now, sometimes when a fighter lives by the sword, he dies by it as well. Now, George Foreman found that out the hard way when he faced Shannon Briggs for the lineal heavyweight championship in his last career fight in 1997. Foreman would drop a highly disputed majority decision despite outlanding Briggs by a significant margin and rocking him many times with hard shots. Virtually nobody, except for the judges at ringside, felt Briggs did anything close to deserve a victory. Yeah, nobody but the judges. The judges were an inexperienced crew and found themselves the subject of harsh criticism after the cards were read. But for some viewers, this was nothing more than karma from another bad decision when Foreman got the nod over the unknown Axel Schultz in a fight he clearly lost in 1995. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword, right? Foreman got a gift decision, and then he gave away a gift decision. His opponent got one. This was a bad one here. Oscar De La Hoya versus Felix Sturm. Now, what they were doing, they were trying to set up that first four-belt undisputed fight. B-Hop and Oscar had all the belts at that time, and they were trying to set up Oscar and B-Hop. Where's follow the money? Where's the money? Oscar and B-Hop, or B-Hop and Felix Sturm? It's clearly Oscar and B-Hop. So they robbed Sturm. Let's talk about it. There's Oscar and Sturm right there. In boxing, money talks. And when a big fight looms, nothing can stand in the way. Even one of the possible opponents in the big fight losing, that can't even stand in the way. Nothing can stand in the way when a big fight looms. Okay, we've seen that recently. Unfortunately for former middleweight challenger Felix Sturm of Germany, his first appearance in America was memorable for all the wrong reasons. In 2004, he defended his WBO middleweight title against boxing superstar Oscar De La Hoya, who was already lined up for a unification fight with Bernard Hopkins in the fall. Yeah, Sturm did have one of the fights, but after whoever won between him and Oscar would have the other belts, and B-Hop had the other ones. So it would be beat Bernard against the winner of this fight for the first four-belt champion for the first undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. And that was big. And they wanted it to be B-Hop and Oscar. Oscar lost, but, follow the money. Big fight looms. Don't let nothing stand in the way. And they already had Oscar and B-Hop lined up for this fight even before this fight happened. So they couldn't let Oscar lose, right? So Sturm dominated the fight behind a jab and counterpunching. Oscar, who had never fought above 154 pounds before, looked slow and out of shape. He did not carry the extra weight well at all, but was awarded with a gift-wrapped unanimous decision by identical scores of 115-113. When they cheat, they always make it 115-113. Right? The scores didn't reflect the action in the ring, but Sturm was not going to be allowed to ruin a super fight. Right? That's right, Al Booger. Money talks the loudest in boxing. And Felix Sturm winning was not going to be allowed to ruin a super fight. Okay? Going for the first undisputed champion in the 4-belt era. What better than B-Hop and Oscar, two of the biggest names in the sport? Nobody want no Felix Sturm in that fight. And the judges made sure. And I'm sure they were paid ahead of time to make sure. Boxing is a dirty business, man. That's why they used to call it the red light district of sports. It still is. Paul Williams and Erislandy Lara. Lara was young then. Williams was a veteran fighter. And this is what they did. They gave it to the veteran. Paul Williams versus Erislandy Lara. There was a time when Paul the Punisher Williams was one of the most feared fighters in boxing. Just ask Floyd Mayweather. With physical advantages, a tall frame and good power, he wasn't someone that a lot of guys were willing to face. Just ask Floyd Mayweather. Williams was the definition of a high-risk, low-reward opponent. Again, just ask Floyd. He was the textbook definition of a high-risk, low-reward opponent. Paul Williams was back around that time. His opponent on July 9th, 2011 was slick Cuban boxer Erislandy Lara, who was relatively unknown at the time. Lara has since become something of a cult boxing icon, and this fight helped propel him to that status, even though he lost. Now still a champion, 42 years old. Still at middleweight too, all these years. Yep. Yeah, Mike Rim. Oscar, no doubt, lost that fight. They had already had Oscar and B-Hop lined up. So, they couldn't let Felix Sturm ruin that. So, yeah, but Lara really became known after that fight, even though he lost it. Lara dominated the fight, winning no less than 9 rounds up to 12. Convincingly. It wasn't even 9 close rounds. Won 9 rounds convincingly. Only to see the win snatched from his hands by 3 corrupt judges. They awarded Williams a majority decision by scores of 116-114, 115-114, and the third had a draw, 114-114, even though the fight was nowhere near that close. Like I said, Lara won 9 rounds convincingly. It wasn't no kind of swing rounds, nothing like that, convincingly won them. The 3 judges were subsequently suspended by the New Jersey State Athletic Commission. And while the commission didn't find any evidence of wrongdoing, it ordered the suspended officials to undergo further training. Training don't help corruption. They didn't need no further training. They needed to be banned, like they did C.J. Ross after the Floyd fight against Canelo. When she scored a draw, she got banned because she was already in hot water after she scored the way she scored Manny and Tim Bradley first fight. Remember they gave that to Tim Bradley? And then she turned around and gave Canelo a draw. She got her walking papers. They said, you can leave. Make sure you take all your personal stuff with you. But leave that judging license here. Take everything except for the judging license. She was banned. And these 3 judges they're going to give more training. What training got to do with corruption? Okay. Let's see what's next here. Okay, Courtney Burton and Emmanuel Augustus. Emmanuel Augustus is the most robbed man in history. There he is. He used to do that dancing. I think that kind of like turned the judges off, but that's the most robbed man in history right there on the right. Emmanuel Augustus. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know, Mike. I don't understand. That would be the best judges of all because they know boxing, and plus they've been robbed, so they wouldn't be in there robbing nobody. That's I think would be the biggest factor for retired boxers. They know how it feels to be robbed, you know, because when you get robbed like that, that hurts your drawing power too. Look at Felix Stern. If he'd have won that fight against Oscar and beat B-Hop and became the first undisputed champion of the 4-belt era, look how differently his career would have been. Look at Jack Catterall. He got robbed of undisputed in that Josh Taylor fight, remember? And he'll never get a shot at undisputed again. You know, some fighters never get that shot. He got a shot at 4-belt undisputed and was robbed. Look how differently his career probably would have been, you know? So yeah, ex-fighters wouldn't rob nobody just because of that factor, because they know how to feel to be robbed and know how it affects you. So that would be an excellent idea, Mike. Mm-hmm. Ex-fighters. Judges and referees. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Courtney Burton and Emmanuel Augustus. And Emmanuel Augustus is the most robbed fighter in history. Yes, he is. He got robbed every other fight, damn near. Yeah, I think all that day he used to be in there. He'd be squared up to fight, and all of a sudden he'd break out into a dance step. Mm-hmm. What do you call him, the drunken master? Yeah. But yeah, let's talk about Courtney Burton and Emmanuel Augustus. Okay. Burton on the left, Emmanuel on the right there. Now, this one might not rate highly on many lists, mainly because neither fighter reached the upper echelons of the sport. But that doesn't make the decision any less ridiculous. Emmanuel Augustus spent much of his career as a gatekeeper, but he was never an easy out. He lost by 9th round TKO to Floyd Mayweather in 2000 in a fight that was later described by Floyd as the toughest fight of his career. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Floyd said that was the toughest fight of his career against Augustus. On this night in 2004 against Burton, he did way more than enough to win against fellow journeyman Courtney Burton in a fight televised by ESPN. But instead, he was a split decision loser. The scores against him were ridiculous, with one judge giving Burton a crazy 9 rounds to 3, which prompted an outraged Teddy Atlas to deliver one of his famous on-air rants. You know Teddy. Teddy will get him. And that one prompted Teddy to get one of his rants. And Teddy would do it right on the air. Remember, he was commentating. Teddy wouldn't wait. He would do it right there. The decision was so bad that it prompted an investigation by the Michigan State Athletic Commission. But of course, nothing came of it. Those are just show investigations, you know. Those are just show investigations. That's all they are. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they want to have him as analyst. Okay. Old School says the reason why ex-fighters won't be judges is because they would be honest and the sanctioning bodies control them. That's right, Old School. You hit it on the nose. That's what I'm saying. The ex-fighter's going to be honest, and the sanctioning bodies don't want that. They want referees and judges they can buy, they can pay for, they can buy. That's it, Old School. The ex-fighter's going to be honest. The sanctioning bodies don't want honest referees and judges. No. Then they wouldn't have been able to buy them off. Felix Stern would have beat Oscar, right? They would have never had that Oscar B-Hop big payday for everybody. Because an ex-fighter, say ex-fighters were judges, they would have called it right. Mm-hmm. They would have called the fight correctly. And like old school said, they don't want that. They want judges and referees they can buy. Yep. Okay. Miguel Cotto versus Shane Mosley. Is that them? Oh, yeah, Cotto. No, that's not. I think it is. Cotto did have hair one time. Well, Miguel did. That ain't them, though. That's, look like Jose. What's his name? I done got off track. Yeah, I'm missing a picture. That's not Cotto. Cotto and Joel Casamayor and Jose Santa Cruz. Yeah, I'm right. That's them. That's Joel with the bald head going down. Yeah. Joel Casamayor and Jose Santa Cruz. Jose Armando Santa Cruz. Okay, yeah. We're right. Yeah. The Miguel Cotto versus Shane Mosley fight in 2007 was one of those fights that was close, competitive, and could have gone either way. But on its undercard, a fight was featured that could only be classified as one of the biggest heists in boxing history. Recognized lightweight champion Joel Casamayor, who entered the fight off a long layoff, was awarded a ludicrous split decision win over hard-charging challenger Jose Armando Santa Cruz. Even the judge who scored the fight for the challenger did so by a close 114-113 score, the one that gave it to Santa Cruz. Let's not even talk about the other two, who somehow favored Casamayor despite Santa Cruz outlanding him 246 punches to 129, and plus had a knockdown. Okay? ESPN's Dan Rafael had to fight a whitewash, 119-109 for Santa Cruz. And Harold Letterman even had it, 118-109 for Santa Cruz. No rational person could even understand how the judges had it so close. Much less that Casamayor won it, right? Yep, another crazy one. Okay, this is second. This man here got second place for the most robberies in history. Sweet Pea. The Drunken Master is the most robbed man in history. Sweet Pea is second place for the most robbed fighter in history. Jose Luis Ramirez versus Pernell Whitaker. And they fought twice. And the second fight was almost like a carbon copy of the first one, but the judges gave it to two different fighters. They gave the first one to Ramirez and the second one to Sweet Pea. Right? The Drunk Irishman in the building. What's up? Salute. Drunk Irishman. Yeah, we are talking about controversy and corruption part 2. These are some of the these are the biggest worst judging decisions in history. A salute to the Drunk Irishman. Okay. Yeah, this is the second most robbed fighter in history, next behind the Drunken Master. And the Drunken Master's record is safe. Nobody will ever get robbed as much as he did. Because he was a journeyman, you know, and nobody really cared. Go ahead and rob him. But Jose Luis Ramirez and Pernell Whitaker. The Jose Luis Ramirez versus Pernell Whitaker clash for the WBC. This is the first one. Sweet Pea won the second one. They did give him the second one. This was for the WBC lightweight title in 1988. Was rife with controversy, even before the fighters stepped through the ropes. After allegations of impropriety, with the WBC seeming to favor a fight between Ramirez and WBA champion Julio Cesar Chavez, many in the Whitaker camp felt they were entering the fight at a disadvantage. The fight was a one-sided affair, with Whitaker winning no less than 9 rounds on most cards, just like he did in the second fight, which they gave to him. He deserved an easy unanimous decision in the title, but that's when the shenanigans started. Only one judge favored Whitaker, 117-113, while the other two found a way to get Ramirez a split decision by scores of, get this, 118, 113, and 116, 115. How anyone could give Ramirez 8 rounds is beyond sanity. The decision was ugly, but so was the aftermath, with members of the Whitaker camp throwing around accusations of corruption and score fixing. You can't blame them. This was one of the worst of all time, and Whitaker got beat out of a victory he had earned. He won about 9 rounds, which he almost just watch both of these fights. They almost carbon copies, but they gave one to Ramirez, they gave the second one to Whitaker. I guess they didn't pay the second set of judges enough, or they was willing to allow Whitaker to win that one. Okay. This is one of the worst in history here too. Manny Pacquiao and Tim Bradley. Watermelon-headed Tim Bradley. Oh, I mean Desert Storm Tim Bradley. But it should be watermelon-headed. Tim Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao. On June 9th, 2012, Manny Pacquiao stepped into the ring with a lesser-known fighter who had a chance at an upset, according to some boxing analysts. And he did come away with the win, despite losing the fight, right? Despite losing the fight, he came away with the win. Pacquiao outlanded Bradley in 10 of the 12 rounds, according to CompuBox statistics. And by the end of the fight, he had landed nearly 100 more punches than Bradley. He was able to beat Desert Storm to the punch whenever he opened up. And when this decision was announced, Bradley was reduced to the I had to watch the tape defense to quiet questions about an undeserved win. Remember in the ring when they interviewed him? He didn't even defend the judge. He said, I got to watch the tape, because he didn't even believe it. It looked like he said, who, me? When they announced the decision. He mouthed those words. Who, me? And his wife told him he didn't win. No, again, I made that part up. But yeah, he had the defense. I have to watch the tape. I have to watch the tape defense. Remember that one when you know you lost? That's when you know a fighter know he lost and get a bad decision. I have to go watch the tape defense. He don't have no way to defend it. Like I did this in this round, I did that in that round. All he can say is I gotta go watch the tape defense. Because Tim Bradley could not defend getting that fight. Because he didn't get it, right? In the immediate aftermath of judges C.J. Ross and Dwayne Ford scoring the fight, 115-113 for Bradley, the Twitterverse exploded with everyone from former fighters to other sports personalities decrying the verdict. And that one put C.J. Ross in hot water after the Canelo debacle when she gave Canelo the draw against Floyd. They gave her walking papers. You got to be bad for that, because they usually let judges get away with murder. So she had to be bad. A ringside poll of media members at the fight scored it. 53 media members from ringside, 50 of them scored it for Pacquiao. The other 3 were related to Bradley. I made that part up too. But 53 media people at ringside, 50 of them scored it for Pacquiao, right? As the clear winner. And an unofficial WBO review with 5 veteran judges concluded with all of them picking Pacquiao by wide margins. But what is a review going to do? You ain't going to change nothing. That's just for show. You can watch it on TV. You can watch it with the sound off. You can watch it standing on your head. You can watch it underwater. No matter how you watch it. Pacquiao got robbed. That was one of the biggest ones in history there. Okay. Yeah, this is the Eugenia Williams debacle here. Listen to this one. I don't think I did that one. But yeah, this was one I'm always harping about her, because in the 5th round, Lennox Lewis landed 143 punches. Holyfield landed 11, and she gave the round to Holyfield. 143-11, and she gave the round to Holyfield. This is another one for the second most robbed fighter in history. Sweep here again. Pernell Whitaker versus Julio Cesar Chavez. They called this one a draw, remember? If you need to know about this one, is that all you need to know about this one is that in the immediate aftermath of the fight, Sports Illustrated ran an issue with the headline, "Raw, blazing across the Pernell Whitaker chopped face." I know you saw that issue of Sports Illustrated in your old school. They had Pernell Whitaker on the front and they had Raw up across it. Mm-hmm. Whitaker has the distinction of appearing on this list more than once, but none was worse than the fight in 1993 when he got robbed in the granddaddy of all robberies. In the granddaddy of all robbery judging locations, Texas. That's why I say that 87-0? It's a big asterisk by that because of this fight right here. It shouldn't have been 87-0 because he did not win 87 straight fights. He lost this one. Now, the first few rounds were relatively close, but by the fourth round, Whitaker began to seize control of the fight. Chavez struggled to get close enough to land punches, and when he did, Whitaker dominated the inside exchanges. As the fight wore on, the once feverishly pro-Chavez crowd became quiet, right? The Showtime commentators reflected the action in the ring, placing Whitaker way ahead on the front when the final bell rang. But then the scorecards were announced. Whitaker, the first judge said Whitaker won 15-113. You knew something was in the works because that was way too close. Whitaker won 15-113. But then the two inexplicable 115-115 cards allowed Chavez to escape with a draw in the worst decision in boxing history. At the professional level, this might be the worst in history. This was amateurs. Roy Jones and Si-Hun Park. This is 1988 Olympics. This is far and away the single greatest robbery in the history of Olympic boxing. And for that matter, in boxing as a whole. Okay? Many fans know Roy Jones Jr. for his phenomenal professional career, where he captured world titles in 4 weight divisions and spent years as the undisputed pound-for-pound king, including being the #1 boxer of the 1990s by Ring Magazine, Boxer of the Decade. But they don't know where he got his start as a 1988 U.S. Olympian who was ripped off out of a gold medal at the Seoul Games. That's money right there. Look at all the endorsements he lost by getting just the difference in the gold and silver medal is millions of dollars. Okay? En route to the gold medal fight, Jones did not lose a single round in the competition. And the entire Olympics had never lost a round. In the final, gold medal final, he outlanded his opponent, Si-Hun Park, by an absurd 86 punches to 32, only to lose the fight on a 3-2 judges' decision. The fight caused an uproar, and the International Olympic Committee spent years investigating, but nothing happened. It was later revealed, they spent years investigating. It didn't get overturned or anything, but it was later revealed that the judges who voted in favor of the Korean fighter had been wined and dined by the Korean Olympic organizers. But Jones never received the medal that belonged around his neck. So why did they even investigate? The judges were wined and dined by people from the Korean Olympic Committee, right? But nothing changed. So yeah, just show invest. They spent years doing show investigations, right? And that's what you was looking to find out, something like that. The guy was from Korea, and members of the Korean Olympic Committee was whining and dining the two of the judges that scored the fight, but you still didn't do anything about it. So why you waste all the money and time investigating? You found something you was looking for, but nothing was still never done. So show investigations, they spent years doing that. Because the United States Olympic, USA Boxing was on there next. But nothing still didn't happen, right? Let's look at the top 10 craziest controversial boxing press conferences now. Okay. And we got what happened to Fan Man too. Yeah, top 10 Olympic crazy press conferences, controversial crazy press conferences. Al Booger says Whitaker versus Chavez, robbery of the decade. Yes, it was. Al Booger, that was a bad one there, where he did Sweet Pea. That's why the 87-0 have a big asterisk by it for Chavez, because he was not no 87-0. And the Taylor fight too, although he did come back, you know, and had a strong last round. He did knock Taylor down, and Richard Steele, he didn't finish counting him out. He stopped the fight. Lou Duva, dumbass, Taylor's trainer, was up on the ring of the apron, distracted Taylor. And when Richard Steele asked him, was he okay? Taylor was looking at Duva and didn't answer. I don't know why Lou Duva jumped up there. Part of that is his fault. He distracted Taylor. The referee trying to talk to him. Lou Duva trying to scream at somebody. I don't even know what he was doing. And Taylor was trying to respond to Duva. And when Richard Steele said, are you okay? Taylor didn't answer. And Richard Steele, you know, they was looking for a reason to stop it, right? Looking for a reason to end it and keep Chavez undefeated, and they found it. You know? Okay, yeah. Let's look at some of these crazy press conferences that we've had over the years. Now I gotta find them because I got this stuff from yesterday mixed in here and everything is all mixed up. Oh, press conferences, right? I forgot what I was looking for a moment there. It's nice outside today. I went on my walk all bundled up and stuff. I was walking and taking stuff off as I was walking. Yeah, man. Because, you know, it was kind of nippy yesterday. Then I ended up having to carry it in my hand. But it's all good. I got my exercise in though. That's the main part. Yeah, we're going to look at some of the craziest boxing press conferences. Now, this should be at the end. No, this is at the beginning. Okay, yeah, there we go. Yeah, the first one was, it's David Hay, and I think that's Dillian White. Let's check it out. Top 10 craziest boxing press conferences in history. You know, Mike Tyson, Fury is in here. Booker says, didn't the fighter just give the gold medal to Roy? I think he did. Oh, yeah, I think I read something about that, Al Booker, recently. I know at the Olympics, when he was up on the top, and then Roy with the silver and the other guy with the bronze was standing on the side, he did pull up on the top, pull Roy up on the top podium with him because he knew Roy belonged up there. But I had something vaguely, I'm going to have to check into that, Al Booker, but I think you're right. It just happened this year, I believe. Or I read something about that. Yeah. He should have gave it to him that night. Now, Tyson Fury's press conference antics, including dressing as Batman and play fighting his cousin, captured the global imagination and set a trend for costumes in boxing. The press conference, well, I'm not worried about that. These YouTube boxers and stuff. Now, there have been some wild moments in boxing history, but not all of them are taking place in the ring, with some having happened before the fight even started. Press conferences are seen as a way to promote the fight, whether they are on the final week leading up to the encounter or nowadays to launch the fight several months before the real action comes to the fore. Some of boxing's biggest names have been caught up in malaise angry face-offs, and verbal insults during their time during the press conferences, including some legends of the game like Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali, but also some faces of modern boxing like Derek Chisora, Tyson Fury. And so now we're going to look at some of them. The first one is Tyson Fury and Vladimir Klitschko. Remember that fool dressed up like Batman for the press conference? Here he is. That's Tyson Fury in the outfit. Remember that? Tyson Fury is a fool. Okay. Although a brawl did not erupt, Tyson Fury is considered one of the biggest entertainers in the sport's history. And at this press conference, he did exactly that, capturing the imagination of the globe. In typical fashion from the Gypsy King, he decided to bring a costume to the event and rocked up to the event dressed in a full Batman outfit, including the mask, while driving a yellow Lamborghini supercar. This brought great amusement to the British fans and the boxing media who attended the event. But it was far from over, as during the event, his cousin Huey Fury decided to burst in dressed as Batman's companion Robin. In a hilarious incident, Fury decided to wrestle his cousin to the ground by leaping over the table in a play fight in some of the most incredible viewing. This foreshadowed one of the biggest performances from Fury, who dethroned Vladimir Klitschko and set a trend for costumes. Yeah. His cousin came as Robin. Your Derek Chisora versus Dillian White. Yeah, here they are. This Chisora in the red hat, White in the black hat. White, White in the red hat, right? Chisora in the black hat. I don't know. Who's who? That's Derek Chisora and Dillian White. Yeah, that's Derek in the red hat. Right. Okay. So yeah, this one. Dillian White and Derek Chisora most certainly delivered one of the most entertaining rivalries in British boxing history. And their two fights grasped the nation with bad blood, certainly more evident during their first encounter. War has been known for delivering exactly what its name says, both inside and outside the ring. And verbal insults were flying back and forth throughout their maiden press conference. But it came to a point where things became riotous and got out of hand as Chisora decided he had heard enough from his rival, picking up his entire table and throwing it towards White and his team. Luckily, it didn't cause any serious damage, although it was made of metal, and a major brawl broke out on stage with punches thrown from either team. Eddie Hearn even has later revealed the different tables are now often used as a result of this incident. They don't use the metal tables no more from Chisora and White. Mm-hmm. Herbie Hyde versus Michael Bent. Herbie Hyde versus Michael Bent, talking about some crazy press conferences. This press conference produced one of the most bizarre and incredible moments before the fighters had even made their way through the doors of the hosting building. Hyde and Bent were meeting for the WBO title and were due to come to blows in the ring. But they hardly had even made it to the first press conference before Hyde provoked his rival by knocking his baseball cap into a puddle outside. As expected, Bent took huge exception to this and charged at his rival, throwing punches before grappling to the ground and continuing to throw frightening blows before they were eventually pulled apart by their teams and security. All hell had broken loose already in a highly anticipated fight, and it was a Britain Hyde who did get the last laugh in the ring in brutal fashion, leaving his opponent hospitalized. Okay, Riddick Bowe and Larry Donald press conference. Big Daddy. Former undisputed heavyweight champion Riddick Bowe has made some questionable choices outside the ring, during his career. And this crazy press conference moment certainly ranks up there as one of them. In Los Angeles, California, 5 days before the fight, Bo came face to face with his rival and decided to start the fight early. Harry ran up to Donald and landed an uppercut combination flush, right? Unprovoked combination on him. Started by an uppercut, right? This was even before the press conference. The 1-2 was as good as anything you see in the ring. Donald did extremely well to stay on his feet, however, and looked incensed back at his rival and went to move forward. However, given the proximity of the pair, many were able to dive in the way. But it was a truly remarkable moment, given how they had shared a podium and were talking to fans about the clash. Bo revealed later that he had taken the course of action after being angered by Donald's trash talk. Yeah, he said he was mad because of the trash Donald was talking. Okay. Bernard Hopkins and Felix Trinidad. Bernard almost called a brawl in Puerto Rico. Remember, he threw the flag on the ground. He did it in New York, right? And then they had the next press conference in Puerto Rico, and they did it again, and they had to sneak him out of the country. Yeah. Big Daddy. Yup, old school. You had to sneak Bernard out of the country. And perhaps one of the most universally incredible moments in boxing press conference history. It wasn't Hopkins and Trinidad who were the only ones involved in some chaotic scenes. Hopkins was in home territory in New York, or so he thought, and he decided to try and gain an edge during the face-off by picking up the Puerto Rican flag and throwing it to the floor in a huge sign of disrespect to Trinidad and his compatriots. The fans responded in the exact way to Trinidad, and things took a sharp turn for the worse. The Puerto Rican, who was angered by the move and began shoving towards his rival, but the real problem came from a wave of Puerto Rican fans in the crowd who began rioting and charging towards Hopkins. They began throwing any objects they could find at Hopkins, including bottles, seats, and more, in a real dangerous moment for Hopkins, who realized he was in big trouble. He managed to duck out and escape, but it really was pure carnage. Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick. Holmes and Berbick. Two big heavyweights. Yeah, another classic. Yeah, Bernard was the same for that one too. Yes, he was, Al Booker. That was another classic from Bernard. Larry Holmes and Trevor Berbick. Holmes had just beaten Tim Anderson in his heavyweight return and was attending a post-fight press conference, which also happened to invite the presence of Berbick. Naturally, they wouldn't even at a press conference to fight. Holmes was at a post-fight press conference, and Berbick was there. Naturally, questions came up surrounding the sequel of their clash, to which prompted a response from the incredible jab master Holmes against his rival's attitude. Things then took a personal turn as Berbick accused Holmes of having a mistress, which prompted a physical confrontation. Incredibly, the pair scuffled, which was broken up shortly after by some police officers. But that certainly wasn't the end of it. As Berbick ran into the camera about the events that took place, Holmes appeared and dived from the roof of a car onto a series of reporters and officers who had broken up the previous argument. It was nothing short of incredible and is a real core memory for many boxing fans of the generation in the heavyweight division. Yeah. Holmes dived off a car. Wow. Holmes was insane too, Al Booker. Him and B-Hop. Mike Tyson versus Lennox Lewis. Remember the eat the kids incident? I will eat your kids. And he bit Lennox on the leg too, remember? Remember when they got the wrestling? Mike bit him on the leg. Now, getting the edge, perhaps because of the magnitude of the fight, heavyweight giants like Tyson and Lennox Lewis met in a heavyweight clash, which has sparked huge interest due to the historic antics of both at a memorable press conference. Canadian-born Lewis was brought on stage first before Iron Mike decided to march forward with his army of supporters. Yeah, Mike always had a big entourage, and things quickly became heated. However, it was what followed which simply cannot be forgotten as a boxing fan. Tyson decided to launch one of his trademark wall attacks and swung a huge punch aimed for Lewis, which actually hit a member of Lewis's team. This sparked a wild brawl on stage between the two teams, which took ages to get under control, with incredibly Western music playing in the background, which appeared to literally sum up the proceedings. To finish things off, Tyson then went on a foul-mouthed rant aimed at a reporter and Lewis, and it's really an iconic sequence. And Mike actually bit him on the leg too when they was wrestling. He left that out. David Haye and Derek Chisora. That's Haye on the right, Chisora on the left. David Haye, Derek Chisora. Old School says Lennox, another known for fighting guys on a downward spiral in their careers. Yeah, and after that, he beat Vladimir Klitschko on cuts. Lennox retired because Klitschko was winning the fight when they stopped it. And Klitschko wanted the rematch. Lennox retired. That was his last fight. Mm-hmm. Then he tried to say, I planned on retiring anyway before this fight, but he never said that until after the fight. He didn't want to get back in there with Vitali. Haye and Chisora, this is the final one. Haye always has some interesting press conferences, David Haye. Yeah. Let's see. Okay, here we go. A press conference and fight that hardly needs remembering and explaining. Events between Haye and Chisora need to be seen to be believed, with arguably the most wild fight buildup of all time. A post-fight press conference was held in Germany. This is post-fight, after David Haye lost to Vitali Klitschko, and things between the pair immediately kicked off. This after he lost to Vitali, then right. Post-fight press conference after the Vitali loss. Haye dropped his opponent to the floor with a crisp combination after he charged toward him, and turned things instantly wild as the brawl even continued outside after the event. Haye was sought after to be arrested for his actions, which he intended to be self-defense because Chisora did charge him first, right? And the build-up to the eventual fight seemed to be in the same incredible way. The Haymaker did eventually settle their rivalry, and the pair have even become friends since, with Haye even training Chisora, right? But they wasn't friends at first. Wow. Yeah, Haye fought him. Valueb, yeah, Nikolai Valueb, Old School, yeah. That's who you're talking about, right? Valueb, yeah, Haye fought him. I had this story about, the dirtiest fighter of all time is, what's his name? Louis Resto, the one that had the Panama Lewis training. Him and Panama Lewis even went to jail for what they did. They had hand wraps was loaded and also had plaster of Paris in it. That hardens over as it get wet. So as you steadily going through the fight, your hands getting wet in them gloves and the hand wraps and the plaster of Paris is hardening more and more and more. And man, they said Billy Collins' face wasn't even recognizable after the fight. And what happened? His father knew something was up, so he got over there before they could take everything off, and he shook Resto's hands, and that's when he made the officials outside the ring investigate. They actually went to jail, man, for that. Panama Lewis was a real slime ball. What's up, B3? B3 in here? Yeah, Panama Lewis was a real live slime ball. What's up, B3? I'm gonna drop the link. I got a couple things for tomorrow. If I save that resto, we might have part 3 of the controversy tomorrow. I got that resto story, which is really good, and I don't think we cut it close now. And I got something about the sanctioning bodies. I'm gonna drop the link and save them for tomorrow. Because we got old school in here. We don't see old school that often. He usually be working this time of day. So yeah, let's get some link time in here now. To finish things off, and B3 is in here. I haven't talked to B3 about the Devin fight Saturday yet. I was on the show. He was on the panel after the fight over there with BBO. But yeah, he ain't been on my panel yet. Okay, to talk about it. Okay, let me get this link in there for us. How's everybody? It's hump day. What we got this weekend? I haven't been keeping up. Well, everybody knew about what last weekend leading into it. We've been waiting on that for months. Now, Abdullah, man, I thought Abdullah made that fight a lot harder than it had to be, man. But hey, he got his hand raised. That's the main thing. Yeah. Abdullah got his hand raised. Right? I thought he made it a little bit harder than it had to be, though. I really did. He didn't have to go through all that with Sam. I thought Sam should have had some points deducted. Even after he got warned, he still kept headbutting. Even after he was warned, he kept doing it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going to have part 3 of the controversy and corruption tomorrow. It's so much corruption in Boston. We could do a part 10 on that. But we're going to talk. We still haven't got to that part about the sanctioning bodies, their corruption. And we got a good story about the Louis Resto and Billy Collins Jr. fight, the slime ball Panama Lewis. He was the one in the first Arguello Pryor fight. He was heard on the mic, the TV camera's mic, saying, give me that bottle. No, the one I mixed up. I guess somebody was handing him a water bottle. He was like, no, the one I mixed up. Special mix. What's up, old school?
What's happening?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just chilling, doing this boxing talk. What's up with you?
Man, I'm getting really tired of these dudes with the masterclass talk when they have no idea what a goddamn masterclass is, it seems.
Yeah. What you talking about, Saturday's fight?
Yeah, man. It's we've heard it with the Ramirez fight. We heard it with the Shakur and the freaking De Los Santos fight. Those were not masterclasses. We need to take everybody that says this dumb shit, sit them down in a freaking classroom, put a projector on, and start putting Floyd and Sweet Pea on. Those are masterclasses.
Right. That's true. That's a true point.
None of these dudes today look halfway like them guys, and they're not masterclasses.
But you know what it is? These are the only ones a lot of these younger people have seen. They haven't seen two masterclasses.
That's what I mean. That's why they need to sit in a classroom and really learn what a masterclass is. But I've heard older guys, Cass, in their 30s and 40s say this dumb shit.
Oh, yeah. Well, those are probably masterclasses to them, you know.
They're idiots.
Not on the screen now. Oh, go with those. Oh, this is B3. Yeah. Go with those. What was you saying, old school?
What's happening, Cass? What's good, Will?
What's happening?
My guys, man. I think that what people are a little confused about, or why they call it that, more than likely, Will, is because Devin really didn't get hit with anything, any big shots.
Yeah,
but that's not a masterclass, B3. Go watch Floyd. Everybody talks about how Floyd was the best defensive fighter and all of that crap, and he was one of the best defensive fighters. But Floyd didn't stand there walking away and grab every time his opponent got close to him. Devin grabbed so many times in that fight the other night. I thought he was going to get down on one knee and propose to Brian Norman.
Ali did a lot of grabbing too, old school. Yeah, that's part of it.
What was he fighting, Cass?
Who? Oh,
Ali.
yeah, that's what he was saying. He was fighting them.
There you go. I counted 4 jabs in one of them rounds, and 2 of them didn't even land. That is not a masterclass.
Yeah.
Hey, but he nullified everything his opponent did, though.
That's still not a masterclass, bro.
Do you agree he won, old school?
Yeah, I picked. Me and D1 watched it together, and I said he won by a point.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why the point was because of the knockdown.
Yeah.
Wow. So you gave him. You scored at 114, 113, Haney. You had it. You had it a draw.
Pretty much. If that knockdown wouldn't have happened, I would have probably given it to Norman.
Wow.
Because he was the champion. I mean, come on, bro. We gotta be honest about this shit, dude. And,
well, you also got to be honest. You had Norman pre-fight.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was because I'm gonna be honest with you. I rewatched the fight, and Norman was falling short on a lot of his jabs, and he was over pursuing Haney to the point where he put himself in a position to be clinched or to smother his work. He couldn't land. I mean, he landed a few good body shots. I think, everybody wants to speak about the left hook.
Well, he barely landed anything, let's be honest. Because
that's the point, Will.
I heard a couple of people saying, oh, man, now we got Devin's chin's tested. No, it wasn't. He didn't land one solid one on Devin's chin.
Talk to him.
He started going for the home run too early that fight, too. Like, at the end, I thought he was behind where he needed to press. But early, he was pressing too early, I thought Norman was.
Like they say, Devin, they say Devin fought the wrong fight against Ryan. Well, Brian Norman fought the wrong fight against Devin for sure.
Yeah, he lost his head, lost his composure early.
That knockout screwed him up. He didn't know what to do after that, which is a sign of immaturity as far as boxing skills.
That's why I picked Devin, the experience factor. I thought that was going to be the difference right there.
You weren't, look at Suit to the Family, Al Booger, man. And he said he wasn't watching super closely. He was dozing off. You was like kind of been falling asleep. Man, no, you couldn't find significant shots. Norman Jr. landed a handful of shots all fight. And if Devin is out jabbing the jab was outlanding Norman Jr. So I was scoring rounds for Devin just off of that of being more effective with his lead hand. And I just feel like Norman left a lot on the table.
Won the fight. It wasn't a masterclass. Like I said, y'all want to go see a masterclass? The closest we've got today in boxing in this generation to a masterclass is what Bud did Canelo. That's it. That was a masterclass. All the rest of this crap that's going on today in boxing, hell fucking no. I haven't seen one.
Yeah.
Now, the fight I said was going to be fight of the night in that card, and it absolutely was. Was Abdul and fucking Noakes. Yeah. I knew Noakes was going to bring it. I told D1, I said, bro, they better watch Noakes. He ain't nobody to play with.
Hey, old school. Do you think Abdullah made it a little bit harder than it had to be, though?
No, he absolutely did. Because when he had him hurt to the body and he literally almost fell through the fucking ropes, he should have finished him right then and there on the spot. But somebody had told me they thought he was out of juice.
Normally, he would finish him. He finishes people when they get him in that position,
Well, somebody I was talking to was watching the fight with us that night. I don't know, but was it Cash Crypto?
Y'all was on the air, right?
Cash Crypto was like, bro, it looks like he's just tired, bro. Like he punched himself out. And that could be true. Maybe that's why he didn't finish him.
Because not too many people, when Abdullah get him in trouble.
Man, Sam Noakes has the heart of a champion.
Yep.
You could tell how tough he was because most guys would have went over from the uppercuts or the hooks to the head. And Sam Noakes took all them shots. He really wanted to be champion. He really put on for Frank Warren in Queensbury. A lot of people had Abdullah getting a stoppage, but Sam Noakes, he proved a lot of people wrong, man. I'm proud of him, and I look forward to seeing him in the future.
Oh hell yeah, dude. I watch that dude anytime.
Yeah, I heard that you talk about how tough he was before the fight, Old School. Yeah, I hadn't really seen
Sam Noakes, bro. He ain't nobody to play with, dude. He can punch. He's got power in his punches. He ain't got extreme power, but he's got enough to get you out of there.
Yeah.
And his boxing skills ain't all that bad. He is a little slow-handed, slow-footed, but he makes up for it with heart.
And they had that kind of gas tank to fight a tough fight like that and last all the distance too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, dude, with all the body shots he got hit by, I'm shocked he made it through the end of the fight.
I thought sure like the 8th, 9th round he was going to be done, man, but he made the whole 12. Because Abdullah was going to that body early, man.
Man, he was spamming the uppercut to the body. He was spamming it.
Yeah, and Sam made it, man. I was surprised. I didn't think he was. I said, them body shots going to pay off later, which they did. But Sam still made it 12 rounds. I was impressed by that. Tough guy, man.
Now so that's what I'm saying. That fight, that's the thing, and that's why we gotta look, and that's why Cass is good. You know that we have eyes, and we could think critically, right?
Right
now, the Sam Noakes. Abdullah was probably 114, 113, 115, 113, right?
That was close.
But people are saying Haney Norman was 114, 130. You know what I'm saying? Possibly Norman, possibly 1 point to Haney for the knockdown, right? Two completely different fights. And Abdullah took way more right hands than Haney. Haney barely got touched. So that's the only thing. I feel like it's the offensive output, Will School, that you're talking about, that you're trying to tell the people that when you dominate somebody, when you put on a masterful performance, you're letting your hands go, and you're not reluctant to hurt your opponent, right? You're not reluctant to punch. So that's where everybody, like Devin, kind of threw everybody off, was when he didn't consistently let his hands go to the point where he was trying to hurt Norman Jr. He took rounds off, it seemed like, in the back half of the fight.
I'm gonna tell you why too, because that fear of getting clipped is still there, bro.
Yeah, especially after he went down.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
You can watch, if you watch Devin closely in that fight, when Norman comes swinging in, he didn't want no part of it. He got I'll give him this, his defense was up in this fight. No, Devin, I think with a couple more fights, he might come out of it, but he's still a little bit gun shy. But I do give him credit for
was extremely sharp. I think he knows that he can be hurt, Will Old School. Yeah. So I think him and Bill are kind of just they're not going to let anybody touch him if they can avoid it. They're just going to stay clean, and that's what I'm saying. It's if the people buy into what Eddie Hearn is saying, then Devin Haney might be in trouble to get big paydays, because they're trying to say that Turkey didn't like the performance or whatever the case may be, and I think that's disingenuous. I thought it was a great performance in comparison to Jose Ramirez. He did a lot more than what he did with Jose, right?
He did a lot better, bro.
But he also left a lot to be desired, right?
Absolutely.
So that's just the pair and contrast with Haney is. He's a great fighter.
Look, let's clear something up about Eddie. Eddie effed himself. Let's be honest. Eddie overpaid a bunch of fights about 2 years ago. He overpaid Haney. He way overpaid Canelo. Matchroom lost tons of money on them fights. And when you lose tons of money, you don't want to lose money anymore. So they put Eddie on a budget. Now Eddie's got problems because he's got boots and he can't afford his opponents. Matchroom, unless Eddie can prove to Matchroom they are going to make $1, they're not putting the money up. That's why Eddie couldn't get Norman in the ring.
Okay. For the Boots fight.
Right.
Okay.
Boots, if this continues, Boots needs to get the hell away from Eddie. Because if Booth wants the big fights, it's not going to happen under Eddie as long as Matchroom's got him on a fucking budget.
Yeah, that can't be good, you know.
It ain't good. It's a bad situation, and Eddie brought it on himself.
Yeah.
He knew them fights, them stupid fights that he paid Canelo for were not going to make money because Canelo was fighting basically nobodies.
Yeah.
He was trying to capitalize off of that market. He was trying to capitalize off the U.S. market, and you know, I think he did some good things. But like you're saying, they overpaid. Like PBC did, like Al did when he first came in. They overpaid, and then it was a market correction, right? But they still got their name out there to the point where I know DAZN is happy because look at DAZN now. DAZN has the market value. You know what I'm saying? They pretty much have built up themselves in the eyes of the boxing public. So now we even trust them. People doing the $45 a month now to get all the subscriptions and everything. So Eddie did the job. Will Old School, I believe, because think about it. Matchroom is reportedly the what's it called? The valued at the highest as far as the promoters in boxing. Which was like $300 million. So Eddie is up there, you know. So they really doing. So they spend a lot, but I do think I think in the long run they're gonna see it as beneficial, especially if they can keep putting on the big events. But they should have no problem with that with the bread.
B3, do you actually think millionaires became millionaires by losing money?
Investing. It's an investment, Will Old School. You might lose. You might if you just because you spend 500 million and you make $1 billion, you at a profit.
When you lose money repeatedly off of one person, what usually happens to that person to get fired? They can't fire Eddie because he owns part of the company.
Yeah, his father started.
So what they did was they shut his freaking money train down. He's going to have to prove to them from now on that whatever fights he puts on is going to make money if he's going to get the budget. If he can't prove it, he's shit out of shape.
That's not good for him, Will.
No, it's not. And he's screwed up. Look, all them fights with Anthony Joshua, and he's buying the damn seats himself and then reselling them.
Wow.
How many dollars you think he lost on that? Well, you can't keep losing money and expect people to freaking say, "Oh, that's okay, Eddie. That's all right. We'll get him next time, buddy." It don't work that way, bro.
How about Conor Benn? I hope somebody knock his. He's sitting there with his head on Eddie's head, like show like he going to sleep, like he's some big killer or something.
Yeah,
Conor Benn. Remember that?
Playing it up for the fans.
Burns my ass. Eddie's buddy is Conor Benn. He's stuck with this dude through the egg bullshit and all of that crap. Yet he wanted fucking what's his freaking name? The one that tested positive against AJ and got thrown out for almost 2 years. Big Baby Miller. He wanted him out of boxing completely. Yeah, Conor Benn had like 4 different fucking things in his goddamn system. And then he stuck by him. Talk about hypocrisy at its finest.
Yeah.
Eddie only does what Eddie wants.
And now he about to do business with Big Baby Miller. He's trying to sign Big Baby Miller.
What?
Really?
For what?
Well, I mean, the heavyweight division, he need, for one, they want to do another 5v5 with Frank Warren and Matchroom.
Okay.
So that they want to do Queensberry versus Matchroom again. That's what they want. Yeah. So that'll be a good heavyweight for him to have. And then,
right.
Yeah, he's kind of short on heavyweights to some degree.
Okay.
You better stay away from Moses.
Oh, Big Baby Miller.
Oh yeah.
That's
Moses,
who they. That's
and
Moses Thomas. Yeah.
That is a bad man, bro.
Yeah, Big Baby. I think Moses would get him up out of there right now at this point in his career. Yeah, Moses.
The only one I think gives Moses actual fight, and it's because he's going to have to catch him, is Usyk.
Yeah. I don't think Usyk going to do that, though, before he
I don't
retires.
think Usyk wants that fight at all.
He don't need it. Nah. He already done made his legacy, man.
I mean, Moses is a small guy. He's got plenty speed. He's fucking hitting hard. That is not a dude Usyk wants to face.
Nah, I don't think that fight will ever happen either.
See, Usyk's had fucking great success against these big, giant heavyweights because he's faster than they are.
Mm-hmm.
And he can hit them more times than they can hit him. He ain't gonna be able to do that with Moses.
What you think about Carbayel and Usyk, old school? Agit.
Who?
Agit Carbayel, the German guy. The one that beat Frank Sanchez. Remember Frank Sanchez had that knee brace on?
God, I gotta go. I'd have to go back and watch it. I can't think of him right now.
The big boy. He stopped. He just stopped Zhang.
Yeah, Zhang too, right?
Yeah, he beat Arslanbek. He stopped Arslanbek Makhmudov.
You think he'd be good in there with Usyk B3?
Good. Yeah, I think because he's a body snatcher.
Yeah.
So that's the fight I want to see. That's the fight I want to see from Usyk.
That's the one I would get the best chance right now. But like old school was saying, the rest of them, nah.
I'll tell you who ain't that good is that dude who just beat Parker. That dude's food.
Yeah. Woodley.
That dude is food.
What'd you think about that stoppage, Will, old school?
That was terrible.
Yeah. I thought it was a UK A-side stoppage. I could see if Parker was defenseless or he wasn't putting up his defense, but even when the ref jumped in, he was putting up a cross block.
Yeah, bro. I didn't go for that at all. I was like, what the fuck? I was literally screaming at the TV. What the fuck are they doing?
And we done seen plenty of fighters in way more trouble than that. They still let it go.
Right. You know? Come on now.
That was crazy. Yeah.
1000% wobbly legged and everything.
Mm-hmm. Ain't it kind of funny too that right after that Parker tests positive for cocaine? Like it's almost as if Parker would have beat that kid. They had a way to take it back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like they had it set up already. Yup. Mm-hmm.
Yep. We're talking about boxing corruption, Cass. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now Sabril. They saying that Sabril. I don't know if you got to talk about it. They're saying that it might be something going on with Sabril testing positive. I don't know what to believe.
Really? I didn't hear that.
You know, he popped positive for Austrian. So people are saying they're trying to say it was either contamination or, you know, faulty test or something. So we're gonna get to the bottom of it. But
yeah,
Sabril said he'll never cheat. He said that ain't even in his MO, his DNA.
Yeah. Wow.
And he has a great work rate, but I haven't never looked at him in, you know, as like somebody that was, you know, juicing.
Nah.
Somebody think about it, he doesn't have like a super big head or anything like that. He's a normal sized guy. He just strong as hell.
Yeah. And got that gas tank where he can just keep doing it round after round, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure, it's funny. Matias been tested multiple times for multiple fights, and yet never popped 30 except this, right?
So all of a sudden,
Exactly, man. It's disgusting. Yeah, it's unfortunate for the sport too, because I wanted to see him versus Dalton Smith.
Yeah,
I thought that was a winnable fight for Dalton Smith.
Hey, before we go, I want to ask you about Benavidez. What they talking about, cruiserweight now?
Yeah,
you mentioned not Apatida. I can't never remember the other guy's name.
Zurdo Ramirez.
Yeah, Ramirez. Yeah,
he's going that dude's a punching bag.
Stay away from Apatida. Going in the right direction.
That's the fight we want to see. That's the fight he got to make. Jao Fataya versus David, but
if you want to,
not right now.
Yeah, if you want to make his name at cruiserweight, that's who you're gonna have to go through eventually.
But not right now. Let him fight a couple of guys before he gets to that dude.
He doing right. Fight Zurdo first, you know. Yeah.
Zurdo's basically a punching bag, dude.
Yeah. I think
that's what I'm saying. We gotta see the best match. So you feel like he needs to acclimate the 200 first, Will?
Yeah. I would fight Ramirez
at least 2 or 3 fights, bro, before he goes in Apataya.
Zurdo was a good first fight. He's a champion, right?
Yeah.
So that'll be some prestige for him going up there beating the champion. But don't go straight to Apatow. No, that won't be
Oh
good.
hell no.
He'll probably be back at light heavyweight real fast.
Do y'all
Yeah.
feel like was Breedis? I know Breedis is considered. I mean, Breedis is a special fighter.
Yeah.
But do y'all feel like anybody can kind of do what Breedis did? Do you feel like is there anybody at cruiserweight that can really give God that test? Do y'all see anybody?
I don't see anybody right now, B3.
I don't know a lot about the cruiserweights, dude. I'd have to go and really study and see who the hell's there.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't hear a lot of talk about our cruiserweights, bro. Think about it.
Yeah, because of the Badu Jack. I think is Zerto unified or is Jai unified? One of them is unified, ain't it?
That's a good
I don't
question.
know. Maybe Zerto is.
That's a good question. Somebody should have 2 belts.
Because the only other champion I could think of is Badu Jack. Badu Jack has the WBC.
Yeah.
Well, I like Badu Jack, but Badu Jack's old.
Yeah, that's true.
He is, and that's what I was thinking, Will. It's like I'm trying to find 2 or 3 fights for him, but I don't think the public gonna buy into Badu versus David.
Nah.
Bruh, it's a get acclimated fight. They just have to get over it.
Oh, good boy.
I think Zerto would be a good one for him. They being smart, calling Zerto out, I think.
I mean, people always bitch about certain fights, bro, but I mean, come on, dude. It's like they all bitched about Boots and Lima, but Boots needed it. They needed to find out where he was at when he moved up.
I think every fighter should do that when you go into another division. You know, everybody ain't Bud. Just jump up there like he did, and dominate. But that's smart. You're at a new weight. You can spar all you want to, but you need to get in an actual fight and see how your punches feel, see how you feel,
What I can't wait for is Jamel to come back, dude, because I've been hearing he's been in the gym for months and he's looking for a fight.
Yeah, I've heard that months ago he was on the way back, but he's still not back. So
they haven't given him a fight. He's been asking Al to get him a fight.
I wonder why not.
I don't know.
Yeah.
He said, according to him, he says nobody will fight him.
Wow. He's still at 154, right?
Yeah.
His last one was in Canelo.
He said he wanted all his belts back.
Yeah. Okay. Jamel, yeah. I could think of a lot of good fights for him.
Oh yeah.
That's who we need. Suits to the family, Al Booger. That's what we need. Jamel back in the mix, man.
Yeah.
But I was thinking he was gonna come back at the 160 and fight maybe a Dames or something.
Yeah.
Well, maybe
that's too tough for the first fight back.
Maybe that's what PBC wanted. Maybe PBC wanted him to come back at 160. They didn't want him to come back at 154. So now they're giving him problems about giving him a fight.
That young Cuban guy called Adames out. What's his name? Hernandez.
Yep,
Yeah, he called. That would be a good fight too. I like that guy, man. Hernandez. Yeah, he's the goods. Kind of young yet though, but hey, they say they're ready. Put him in there. He calling them out.
My fight that I'd like to see right now, if it happens, is give Jamel 2 fights and then stick him in there with Boots.
Man,
oh yeah,
Boots. I would have to pick Boots.
I think Boots could win it.
Yeah.
I mean, Jamel's my number one. I had Jamel on my number 1 pound for pound at one point.
Now, after old Jamel,
he's been out of the ring so damn long, I don't know where he's at right now.
That's what I'm saying. He get back to where he was, like in the Castano fights. That'd be a tough one for Boots. I would still pick him.
Yeah.
He's
going to give Boots everything he's asking for, too.
Damn right. Yeah. That Jamel. But like you said, where is he at, though? You know what I mean?
They got to get him in the ring, dude.
Don't come straight back to no Boots. Hell no.
No. Hell no. Not after being out of the ring for 3 stinking years. Hell no.
Don't do no Earl. I don't take tune-up nonsense.
No, hell no. What's 3 o'clock, Cass?
Yeah,
4 o'clock when
I
you're
got
in.
to be somewhere too. Yeah, I had lost it. I had just said we get ready to get out of here. Yeah, 4 on the dot. Yeah, Okay, y'all got anything else in closing that y'all want to say before we go or anything? I know
Peace
Old
and
School
blessings,
probably
everyone.
like-
Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you, Old School. When you coming on again, B3?
More than likely on Friday, probably around
Friday
11:30.
morning?
Yeah, Friday. Friday morning. Yep.
Okay.
And so appreciate you, Uncle Cass, and salute to Will Old School.
B3.
Appreciate y'all
Right,
showing
Big
love
Three.
and hey, salute to Tim Lay, my good brother in the building. Salute Tim
Oh,
Lay.
Tim in here. What's up,
Peace
Tim?
out, guys.
Yeah.
Tim, what
Hey,
up?
listen, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving with the family.
Okay, same to you, B3, to you and yours. Have a good
Appreciate
one.
you, Cass.
All right, B3. B3 and William Old School Laurent. Appreciate them gentlemen for coming up, helping to close the show out. And everybody in the chat, have a very safe Thanksgiving. I will be on tomorrow, so we can chop it up around our turkey. But everybody have a good Thanksgiving tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Yeah, of course, B3 said he's coming on tomorrow morning, and we know Old School will be on Friday night at 10 p.m. D1, the Angry White Men podcast. Okay, looking forward to that one because we're gonna hear a lot about this last weekend's fights. But right now, it's time for Just Do Boxing. I got some more corruption for y'all tomorrow. We're gonna talk about that Louis Resto and Billy Collins Jr. situation. I call Louis Resto the dirtiest fighter in boxing history for what he did, and we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. Him in Panama, Louis actually did some prison time for what they did. I've got a good article on that, and we got to get to these sanctioning bodies. They're part in the corruption. So everybody have a great afternoon. Appreciate y'all 1,000%. Tim Layton, B3, the Drunk Irishman, Mike Mazik, Mike Rim, Old School, BBO Sports TV, Al Booger, Crush the Legend, and Miss Cass. Appreciate everybody 1,000%. I'm going over to Just Do Boxing now. Listen to that balanced, unbiased boxing talk. Appreciate it. Have a good afternoon. Cass Sports, the Box Story.